Hello everyone and welcome. If you can hear me, maybe give me a thumbs up just to let me know that my AirPods are functioning correctly. This is the Thanksgiving edition. You can tell it's the Thanksgiving edition because I am in the car on the way to Thanksgiving. Hopefully if any of you are traveling, you're being safe while you're tuning into this live stream. For those of you just joining, what's going on, guys? Let me know that you can hear me and I'm not talking to myself. Gabs, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I can wave. Awesome, I waved. Jared, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. So I've got a few questions in the pipeline here that I'm reading off telephone number 2. So if any of you have questions in the meantime, by all means, pop them in the chat as always. No, I am not driving while I'm live streaming, but that would be quite the feat if I could pull that off. Okay, so let's start with, what's up, Lawson? Austin Lawson, how you doing, man? I'll wave to you too. Let's start with Kimberly Vincent. Kimberly says, hey Peter, I've been asked to give a proposal to a large company interested in my corporate massage pilot project. I think I maybe started to answer this one before, but I don't remember, so I'm going to answer it again. I've Googled it, I've found a sea of info, but not sure what specifics I should use. I thought of the fall. Oh, yeah, I did answer this, Kimberly. And we talked about in the proposal how I used to have really long ones and then I went really short, and how that's been a really good thing for me. I think people read bullet points, so I'm actually, I just wrote chapter, I think it's 11 or 12 of 16 today in my book, and I was thinking to myself, how cool would it be to release a version of the book that was only in bullet points, and or an audiobook that was already on like 1.5x, because people just don't have the time. So brevity is the thing. So hey Meg, what's up? Jared, yes, it is freezing here in New England. I'm on 91 in Connecticut right now, heading up to Boston. All right, so Kimberly, we did get to your question, so I'm going to move along. And Kimberly, if you didn't get the answer, check in my last live stream, and if it's not there, just come back and tell me that I am crazy. All right, so this one comes from, who did this come from? Hold on, I can't see. I've taken like screenshots here, so I got to check and see whose this was. Oh, it's Gabs. Awesome. All right, Gabs. Let me get to your question. What's up, Cedric? Thanks for tuning in. All right, so Gabs asks, since our coaching sessions, I've been working on implementing the strategy we laid out for Rubicon. Nice. Part of that has been launching a new online store to sell our magazine subscriptions and past issues. And you've made $10,000 in revenue over the first 30 days. That's awesome, Gabor. You are the man. There's a lot of figures I'm quite proud of with this store, and the marketing campaigns I've been running to supply it with traffic. A majority of the sales I made actually come from email campaigns that didn't cost us anything. For those of you who are listening to this, listen to what he's saying, going to current customers, mining them for more business. This is all good stuff. Long intro, here's my question. We've been having conversations among the partners about how much marketing is too much. Most of our audience is older and they haven't been used to the barrage of offers they've been receiving lately. At what point do you think running promotions can damage your long-term value? Is one new offer each week in a newsletter too much? What a great question. So you don't know until you go and test, and that's often my question with regards to marketing. What I would say is, you know, Gabs, when we talked, I talked about pulling people together into focus groups and surveys. Because your audience is older, oddly enough, they might be more willing to talk to you. So what I would do in that situation is probably run a weekly promotion, sounds about right, and then I would pull together a couple focus groups and do a survey in which I ask people, hey, are we bothering you? Are you getting enough value out of us? Did you buy any of the promotions in the last month? Why or why not? I'd really want to mine those consumer insights. And the thing is, if you're providing value with these promotional emails, like if you're giving them content plus promotion, no one's going to mind, especially if they're already fans and customers of yours. So that's how I want you to kind of think about, and everyone to think about, promotion. Think about it in terms of, am I providing value with this promotion? If you're not, then you're just shouting in the dark and it's all about me, 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 when it needs to be all about them, them being the customer. All right, so hopefully that helps. Let's go to the next one. working off screenshots here. All right, so that was Kimberly. Let's go to Heather Harvey. Heather Harvey, I am in the process of taking some steps back and building the foundation. I think I did this too. Yeah, we talked about this. I'm sorry, I don't know how these carried over to this particular live stream, but they did, so I apologize. With that one, Heather, we talked about how you want to hire the right person, and the right person's the person that does the things you don't do well. So you're not ending up teaching someone else how to do things that you don't do well in the first place. That would be kind of odd, right? All right, so let's move on to Gabs' second question. If time allows it, time does allow it. And for those of you who are just joining, what's up, Kimberly? By all means, put your Thanksgiving marketing questions in. I'm happy to get to them. All right, so plan some promotions. The idea is to run, sorry, I almost got into a car accident there. Idea is to run a different one every day during the weekend. 2 separate buy one, get one type offers on Friday, Saturday, free shipping above a certain price on Sunday, gift card above a certain price on Monday. Do you think doing these as opposed to one promotion for 4 days makes sense? That's a tough question. So here's the thing. I have a feeling, Gabor, that you're going to dilute your message if you do it this way. The only reason I would recommend you have this sort of, Friday, Saturday's one offer, Sunday's another offer, Monday's another offer. I would only do that if you did it like once every other week or once a month. Even then, I don't think people will catch on. I mean, listen, the research shows people need to hear one marketing message 7 times before it sinks in and they go to do something about it. So, what you probably want to do is hit them over the head with one promotion for like 7 days. With a deadline, and as you get closer to the deadline, the emails get a little more like, hey, getting close to the deadline here, and jump on this while you can. This promotion goes away soon. That creates scarcity, and it creates, a deadline, basically, a reason for people to buy. And there are a lot of mixed feelings about whether that's a good idea or a bad idea. What the data shows is that it produces more sales, period. People need a deadline to get off their ass and make a decision, and in your case, buy something. That's just the way of the world. I wish it weren't so, because having fake urgency and scarcity kind of sucks, right? It's a little bit dishonest, and I'm writing a book on honesty, so I should know. But, part of my book on honesty is about, well, let's be honest about what people need. If they really do want your product or service and you're providing them value, and this is what it takes for you to provide them value, then I would say that's actually being quite honest about what it is you need to do to be successful and what they need to do to get the value you want to provide them. So, I would say in that case, just be cognizant of the fact that people need to be reminded over and over and over and over and over and over again. What's up, Lisa? Just in time for me to get to your question. You are next. For BFCM. All right, Gabs, but the premise still applies, right? Doesn't matter what business it's for, but that's the deal. All right, cool. And Michelle's here. Awesome. What's going on, girls? All right, so let's get to Lisa's question. This is the Thanksgiving edition. Here I am riding in the car on the way up to see my family in Boston. If any of you have questions that you've thought of, please, by all means, put them in the chat. Lisa asks, on average, what is a good percentage from sales for your advertising budget, so including social media, directories, avenues to getting target leads? All right, Lisa. So my answer is the percentage of sales you should be dedicating to advertising is as much as possible as long as you're getting a positive ROI. Okay? If you're spending, 70% of sales, but for that, let's say you spend $100,000, you make $100,001 back, then it is still worth it. If you are above break even on your return on investment, on whatever budget you have, then it is worthwhile. There's a term for that in business. It's called a net present value, which means that the value of your money is better spent dedicating it to that advertising campaign as long as it's giving you more than that amount of money to begin with. There is a present value to you. It gets a little more complicated than that technically in the finance space, but that is the basic premise as we're talking about it here. So I suggest to you that you, and Lisa, you and I and Michelle talked about, find the avenue that's working best for you and just grow that investment incrementally over the course of weeks or months or even years until you tap out, until you see the curve, the ROI curve, start to drop down the other side. Maybe you were spending $1 and you were getting back $1.50, and then you were spending $1 and you got back $1.75, and then you spend yet another $1, and all of a sudden you've gone from 175 to like 160, and then 140, and then 110. All right, find where that curve begins to drop down, and then start to take any additional money you would have spent on that channel, and don't keep driving it to that channel. Put it into the next best pot that you have a theory might be the way to go. Again, it's going to be your best guess, because guess what? You're going to have to start over and test that platform. Okay, so ideally, and listen, I've had clients do this. Okay, we had a client who started spending $20,000 per month with us. Then they went up to $50,000, to $55,000, then to $75,000, then to $85,000, and they were just kicking ass, and we were kicking ass for them. They were getting a 6 times return on their investment with us. So for every $1 they spent with us, they got $6 back. That is a hell of an investment. Go find me a stock on Wall Street that's going to return to you like that. Then a new manager came in, and he was like, I don't know, I feel like we need money for operations and this and that, and he cut the budget back. And they went from getting a 6 times return on their investment to a negative return on their investment, because we had found the apex of that curve. And there are typically diminishing returns on both sides. Like, they got to the point where at the end, every $1 we were spending returned more than the last $1, because for those of you who know anything about media buying, when you go to purchase media, whether it's traditional or digital, the more you buy, the more you get. It ends up being like a 1 + 1 = 3, and then 1 + 2 = 7 kind of deal. So they were benefiting from all those economies of scale, and that's what you, Lisa and Michelle, will benefit from if you do this for long enough. You'll benefit from a growing economy of scale. You will start to drown out competitors in the space who can't afford to compete with you, and all those things add up and make you really quite dominant in the marketplace. But the thing is, I wish that client had kept pressing their bet, because we had not found the backside of that curve. They slid back the other way. And I would suggest to you that as long as you are placing advertising and it's working, for the love of all that is good and holy, don't back down, because then you reverse all those benefits I was talking about. You let competitors come in and take your turf. You give up on the momentum you had. You give up on the algorithms that Facebook and Google ads and all these other platforms run on your behalf to make your advertising better. So once you start, try to create that momentum and keep the ball rolling. Okay? It's not a one-to-one kind of thing, but you get the idea. Okay. So that is that. And the last thing I have is Kevin Gonzalez. What platforms can I advertise on for a B2B company? All right, so Kevin, I own B2C companies, and my biggest is a B2B company. We've tried advertising on every single platform under the sun for our own benefit, and pretty much none of them worked. Maybe a little bit of LinkedIn, and not LinkedIn ads, but like LinkedIn, like networking, old-fashioned way. What's grown our business in the B2B space is networking, becoming known in an industry, getting referrals, all the old-fashioned stuff. It's extremely frustrating. Now, there are B2B companies, particularly tech companies, particularly SaaS companies, that have figured out how to scale their marketing. But if you think about their funnel, they're in such a space that think of Salesforce, right? To buy Salesforce, you don't have to talk to anybody. You could just go to their site and buy it. And so they're more of an e-commerce company. And if you have a B2B solution that is off the shelf, people can just buy it without consultation, that's wonderful, in which case I'd suggest HubSpot or Marketo or any of the other B2B inbound marketing platforms that can help you. But if you require like a deeply well thought out proposal, and you really have to spend time with the client, understand what they need, and they're probably buying the wrong things, so you have to educate them, it takes time and it takes building relationships, and it's very tough to scale that. And that's why I say LinkedIn is one of the hardest things. Now, I will give you a technique that I've used to grow my company, and that a lot of people use to get, a lot of smart people use to get jobs, which is a technique called informational interviewing. And it goes like this. If you know you're going to sell into, for us it's the healthcare space, okay? Go make friends with healthcare professionals, in our case CEOs and CMOs, and just go pick their brain. Don't try to sell them. Don't give them a business card. Don't explain what you do. Just ask them to lunch or coffee or a beer, and sit them down and say, I really want to learn much more deeply about what's going on in the industry from your perspective. I want to learn about what you're thinking in terms of your challenges and how you're solving them. Would you mind being an expert for me and giving me that information? What you'll find is that people love to be the expert. If you compliment them in such a way that you stroke their ego, and they do honestly have 10 or 15 minutes, then you can learn quite a lot. And what happens is you can take all those pieces of learning and apply them to your next pitch or to your next networking event, and so on and so forth. So, and these people are people who later on might look at you and refer business to you, though I stress this is not to get a referral partner, it's to just get information. So that's something that has helped us tremendously. Again, is it scalable? No, it's not scalable at all. It takes a lot of time, but it can often be one of the most effective uses of your time if you are selling B2B. So hopefully that helps. That's the end of my questions, folks. So what, if anything, do you all have? Because I would love to know some of the questions that have come up, popped into your head, if anything. What's up, Denise? How you doing? Lisa, happy Thanksgiving to you too. If there's nothing else, it's begun to snow here in New England, because that's, fantastic while you're trying to get someplace. So I'll love you and leave you. But as usual, it's been a pleasure to see you all. Make sure you pop your questions in and tag me when you have them. Starting this Sunday, I am going to be, Sean and I are going to be promoting the much-awaited Mindset Masterclass. I'm going to do a 4-hour masterclass on maximizing your mindset. It's going to be phenomenal. If you are thinking about 2019 and how you're going to make 2019 an incredible year and grow personally as a leader and grow your business, I'm going to be covering some of the psychological and emotional, thoughtful frameworks that million-dollar entrepreneurs use because they get access to them when they join organizations like EO and YPO. I'm going to be including things I've learned at Columbia Business School. I'm going to be going over some of the best tricks to use law of attraction, abundance mindset, the Johari window, the Eisenhower matrix, all kinds of things, affirmations that will help you more deeply understand yourself, control your emotional state, control the state of others, which is a really neat Jedi trick that I'm going to cover. So I hope you can all join me on the webinar and especially in the actual masterclass. So we're going to be talking much more about that coming up. All right, everyone, I'm going to leave you be. I don't see any more questions. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Try to have some downtime and not think too much about your companies while you're enjoying some turkey dinner. I certainly will be enjoying some time with slippers and family. So peace out, everyone. Have a great turkey day.